All right. I'm Red Ginger, and this is the second installment of Hexam is Growing Our City. So, in this episode or this video, we're going to be building schools, adding police and fire, and improving overall infrastructure within the city, which includes highways and widening some of our roads and adding parking as well to the neighborhoods. So, with that, let's build. Alright, I just want to start out by reviewing some of the changes since we made starting fresh, and some of that includes updating some of these roads here. This used to be a 2-lane road, now she's 4, just to help with traffic flow going north and south in this view, as well as relocating our garbage dump into this new turnaround type style item. So this should help us navigate the whole idea of traffic flow, since there's a lot going in, so the garbage trucks are going to come in and exit as well as moving our clinic, since we had to upgrade this road anyway over here. I figured why not move the clinic into our new turnaround here at Butler Street. And then another fun item here is I've added a turn lane. And then one other reason I did this with the garbage dump was so that we can actually go ahead and add in hazardous waste collection if need be, because the previous way we had it, we would have to rechange the district anyway. So there you have it. And that's what we have done in a nutshell, including creating this overpass here for a highway hookup, which we'll do later in the video. And if you're curious how I created this or want to go into a little bit more detail, I created a short, which I'll link in the description. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. And when we ended the video last, we just got to milestone 2, which gave us education. So it gave us the high school and the elementary school. So let's start by building out a little area in our little service corridor, city service corridor, for that specifically. So I think we're going to do something similar here, where we're going to do a turnaround and have the high school on the north side and elementary school on the south side. So with that, I'll go ahead and create our 2-lane road. Actually, since it's one way, it's going to be a 2-lane one-way road. I'm going to keep it square for now, and you'll see how this works. So one of the fun things is let's go find about halfway here. Say that's good enough. It's the same thing. Halfway. This is going to be a little funky because we're going against the grain of traffic, but we'll fix that here in a second. Delete these guys, and oh geez, we got a weird traffic flow issue. We'll go this way. Alright, and now let's make this 3 lanes, but I don't want to make the whole thing 3 lanes. Just so that there's traffic going out, and there's a straight lane and then dedicated turn lanes. But we'll do that once we go ahead and build our elementary school. That doesn't seem right. No, it seems a little too tight. That looks better. There. Alright, so now we have that. Let's go ahead and build our schools. And I say our elementary school down here because the upgrades that come with the elementary school are just kind of which are smaller. And then the ones that come with the high school are the sports stadium or the football stadium, and that's much bigger. So, and with this curve, I'm not going to have it snap right to the road. I'll have it just kind of right off of it. So that we still have things connected, and we have that, and we should still be able to add our clinic off to the side here, as you can see, which is perfect. That fit exactly where I needed it to, and we could still do our playground. So basically the playground on the elementary school, it's going to give us well-being for the neighborhood, so we'll go ahead and add that. And then our clinic is just going to add healthcare, basically improved healthcare to the children basically in this. So we've got the elementary school set up. When we start hitting a capacity issue, we'll go ahead and add to it, but that's really the only other item. Now we can go on to our high school, which is much bigger when it comes to size. I'm going to go 2 off as well. Well, this one, yes, I was going to say this one's going to be a little less forgiving because it's parking lot. But what we can do is we can create just a straight up road coming from of course it's not going to like it. There you go. And so now we've got that going in to that parking lot where we still have cars going in and coming out. They look a little funky, but hey, could be worse. All right, and so this guy, and like I said, it's got this ginormous sports stadium in the back. I'm just going to go 1 off on each side. I always place it anyway. Helps gives us a boost. And you know what? It provides what? Recreation? Yeah, recreation for the neighborhood. So, with that, let's get talking about getting this running. Let's let this run for a little bit. And we'll get to daylight and we'll let this go. Because the next thing I really want to do is look at building the fire and police. And we'll do that off of down below here. And then we can see how all of this is navigating as well from a traffic perspective. So if traffic ends up being at congestion points here, because I don't know if the traffic lights and stuff, we can add roundabouts if needed. By adding the spacing off of the road, that allows us to do that without disrupting, and the only thing we would lose would just be the houses on the corner. Another aspect or item that we could use this center for are parks, which we don't have yet unlocked. But another item for these turnarounds would be that, or parking garages as well. There we go. So now we've unlocked our large village. So we now have the fire and rescue as well as police. So let's check that out. So fire and rescue down here, pretty straightforward. Firehouse, 4 engines, has an upgrade that we can add to it so that it has 4 more engines. Police station, pretty straightforward. 6 police cars, has an addition on there that we can add 6 more to the garage. And so I was thinking or considering placing the police station and the fire station somewhere off of Woodland Street with a dedicated turn lane. So let's go ahead and let's keep this running so that we can get daylight here shortly, so we can better see what we're working with. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and check out our high school. I mean, we're good. We got 55 students. We have 85 here in our elementary school. Our row houses are looking pretty snazzy over here. So that's pretty good. Some other items that we could look at doing in the meantime while this goes is expanding or changing. We have some medium density demand. Replacing some of these single family houses where they're even saying rent is too high with a denser zoning. So I guess let's go ahead and do that quick. And then I'll do that periodically throughout and just kind of move the development along. So you'll see we're going to start to get some big boys up in here. And our demand basically got squashed for these 2 buildings, which is just showing the fact that, yeah, that is, there's going to be quite a few families that move in here from those single families. All right, so let's let this keep going. So one item to note, as well as you see we have some of these guys here, we're going to start to see more cars parking on the street, which is going to start causing a problem, especially as we start expanding our streets or making our streets removing the parking lanes. You'll see that happen periodically. You can see it in our row home area where pretty much every spot that would be street parking is full. So that means we're going to have to look at adding some parking management in these neighborhoods as we start to move along. But we're not quite there yet. Alright, it's 1 o'clock. I think in about 3 more hours we'll see the sunrise off over here, and we can get adding our police station and our fire station. Oh, look at that. We have our first traffic accidents. It's like a motorcycle accident. Don't see any other cars involved, just one guy. All right, now you can see also our medium density residential is taken off, so let's do that for these next 2 blocks here, right against this commercial. The thing with commercial, they love customers, therefore you provide more people within walking distance, they are happy. So we'll go ahead and change this out and get these 2 going here. So you'll see even just these 3 buildings just basically killed the demand. Just perfect. It's helping towards our progression to level 4, which gives us a bunch more additional items. Like new zoning. Because we don't have any of our office yet, which that would come with level 4. Check, we're doing good. Perfect. Looks like the sun is starting to come up. Oh yeah, there she be. Alright, so with that being said, let's pause it and let's check it out. So, this is what we're dealing with here from a zoning perspective. Or our zone, I should say. This one I'm going to just keep as a basic 2-lane road. I did asymmetric, so we have a turn lane, which I want to do the opposite direction. And just kind of bring it down, because I know the police station is a little bit bigger and the fire station is this itty bitty guy, which I'll snap right back to the road again. And the nice thing with the fire station and the police station, they don't have any add-ons that increase the footprint. So whatever we do here is not going to increase that footprint. So that's our fire station. It's pretty basic. And our police station is a little bit bigger, so that's one reason why I made that road come down. So as you can see, it's asking for more roads, so perfect. I didn't want to get too close to it. So I set it off from the main road here just so that it's not involved with any traffic or any upgrade issues. So, like I said, upgrade basically adds to the building size itself, not the footprint of the building. And then same thing with the fire station, just doubles the capacity. So let's get it going. Now we have our fire and police set. That also helped to give us XP towards milestone 4, so that's good. Well, let's just check out what's next. So our demand meters are basically down to 0 because we have extra capacity here in our medium density. Another item that we could do out here is we could get rid of these paths. Which were used to keep things aligned when it comes to the row houses, and then add this back so that the row houses then grow in those corridors. So we don't need a path next to a sidewalk that's on the road. Alright, so I say this is a great time to go ahead and expand the city and buy some tiles and see what we've got. So we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and do map tiles and see. Let's just go, north, south. Take care of those. So, I mean, cost-wise, it's not terrible. But this allows us then to expand our residential that we have up here out if we need to. as well as our industrial a little bit further south as well. We can also look at adding, there's specialty buildings like signature buildings that we can add for industrials, which are special plants. Which are all unlocked, as you can see, based on like different areas. And then this one, you need just a number of cells tiled, and so on and so forth. So like here, what you need a medical university and a population of 10,000 to get a pharma company. So it's just those little things that would add to that the environment or the industrial park type vibe down here. So we bought those tiles. Let's see, is this zoned up here? Perfect, it is zoned. Let's just let this run and see where we go. Because we have 6 progression points we can spend in our development tree. I'm gonna go ahead and unlock more of our road tools, starting with our advanced road services. This is going to allow us to manage like the traffic flow and if there's crosswalks or not at certain intersections, which is going to be helpful for over by the school, because we may delete the crosswalks and add an overpass bridge for like the pedestrians. So we're going to unlock that, and then we're also going to unlock our large roads, which gives us the 6-lane road and the highways as well. And we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of and actually build out a highway with overpasses, something similar here that you'll see going across here, and then we'll finish out the last road up here so that there's some connections. So I'm going to put it down at a level 1. And since we have this, let's go ahead and upgrade our roads. This is going to knock out a lot of our commercial, which is kind of a bummer, but at the same time. So we're going to do our 6-lane road. That right off of here, going into residential, industrial regions, and I'm just going to do this for all of these going across. People get a little upset, but it is what it is in this case. I'm not gonna upgrade this because we're deleting that here shortly. But I will upgrade this one. And since I haven't had the opportunity to build anything on that, I'm going to keep it at this. Keep it consistent. And because we made that overpass before, we can go ahead and I'm going to bring this down. I'm a big fan of the complex curve, but I also want to landscape up to this tool for this area. So it's not so like aggressive, you know? And same thing on this side too, right? Coming down and coming in. Then we can just overall soften and redo the terrain over here as well, because this is kind of looks a little funky, but it gets the point across and what we need to do. So let's go ahead and pick our lane. I'm a big fan of the complex curve tool when it comes to off-ramps because we want to keep it as close as possible to the road. And we can go right up there just like so. There we go. Perfect. Oh, it's not gonna like that one. So, oh, because it's a little too steep. So we just go back with our leveling tool and we just come back here, bring that out, then do soften that way. Now it should be a little less temperamental. Alright, never mind. Oh man, this is the best part about these. Let's just get that. Boom. Okay. Now let's use our complex curve tool. Alright, there we go. It's a little less angry. Now we can use this soften tool to kind of just soften up these sharp edges. Perfect. Alright, so now we have one overpass, and look at that, we're already starting off ramp area, so we're already starting to see some traffic. Something I love to do is upgrade this so that there's a proper merge lane off and merge lane on. Just like such. And if we expanded the highway ever, I would do something similar as well. Or there's still the abundant lane. Let's go ahead and build our highway out. Alright. So what I usually do in this case, I create the highway, and I'm going to keep it a little square. 2 lanes. We can do parallel. Increase the offset so that there's 2 roads between it. We'll add some more complex lanes to it as well once we get there. This would be terrible, a nightmare if you're ever driving on it, so we can smooth this into a parallel. And Screw it. Go. So we've got that. Now this is basically telling us, okay, so now we have our junction points, which we would never want to do anything like that. That would be terrible. Having some stoplights on there. I'm going to go ahead and add these terraformed overpasses similar to this one to these 3 here. I'm going to do some video editing magic so you don't have to watch me struggle for 45 minutes. Alright, so now that we've created those overpasses, we'll go ahead and just connect the highway quick so that there's a loop. Pretty much there won't be many or any cars coming that way. And now we can go ahead and run it again. And check to see what's going on. So, here we go. So now we have our on-off ramps. Oh, the only ones I didn't update were these guys for our merge lanes. So now they start to all blend together then. As the road starts to get a little bit further out. But now we have our highway system put in, our overpasses as well. One thing I'm going to do here is I'll upgrade this road to a double road going this way and have that come all the way down. And then we can go ahead and silly me. Let's get some of our money back. I make that 6? I made that 6. Oh man, they all look the same. I was like, that's pretty aggressive. I don't need 6-lane road for... This is basically going to be a service area for different types of buildings. So like our... See services. Oh great. Yes, we got the Grand Village, which gives us in the office space area, transportation, and parks. Transportation, I'm going to save for a different video, but for this, I'm going to do go ahead and add some parks and some office zoning through our process. But I'm going to get this connected so that we can go ahead and have a redundancy for our any city services in case something gets disconnected. Just to cover ourselves. So now in theory, now we have 2 passes for city services coming into the area. You know, let's make it 3. Since we're here, let's make it 3, and then we're actually going to use this for when we expand for some additional residential as well. So perfect. Let's see where we're at. So now our demand is legit. So if you look at this, we have all this for medium density. Now that's gone crazy. Now we're most of the way full on this, so I can go ahead and rezone this side. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Get rid of some of these. Feel bad for kicking you guys out. But that's how the game plays. We rezone and repurpose. If they want to, they can move into a lower rent area off to the north. Or they can move into these new apartments that are being built. and look at that. We unlocked a new signature building. So, let's talk about filling these little rounding turn areas that I had here with some parks and creating kind of like a park-like environment. So to start out with, we unlocked just a handful of parks, like small parks, plaza parks, a playground, a dog park, and this campfire place, which is basically a place for camping. And so they're pretty small parks. The only one that's big is the campfire place, which I typically don't place much because we'll unlock larger parks as it goes on. But for this area, we can go ahead and just give it some small parks and a playground, dog park. And so now our area has some parks over here, our residential folks. And we'll do something similar over here. And this. The playground is usually good on some of these smaller bended areas because it is a little bit easier to manage for on the road. I'll add another. Can I add a park back here? I could probably make it so it doesn't snap to the road. So you can get around these bends. So which ones? We have the dog park, playground. Let's just add another, just a regular park. One other item to just note too. So we have these paths that we can add. The one thing that sucks is default out of the game, you can't actually interact with any of these paths. So like I can't connect to these to make these a similar park. Which is a bummer, but it is how it works. I think there's a developer tool that you can use that would allow that to open up. But let's get this going. So we got some parks added. Our city service building. I'm going to go out here and add our road maintenance building to this region out here. There's upgrades to it, but it doesn't expand the footprint, so that's good. But I'm adding it out here just because this is like when we have bus terminals and stuff, this is where I plan to add the bus depot and streetcar area as well. So let's move on. So we got 4 new development point areas which we could unlock, spend it, or use some on parking. As well as some of the other items, so like our education and research tab. The college is a good one to have unlocked as well, especially if you want to start doing more office space items or office zoning, as office requires higher educated individuals in the labor force, which requires a college and university as it moves forward. We won't need any of these just yet. The fire stations for a bigger city, same thing with the police headquarters. I mean, we only have 2,100 people here. Transport services, I mean, we won't need train or water just yet. If we want to add cargo trains, we'll need this later. Parks, we can go ahead and, if we wanted to, now that we have parks, unlock our park maintenance, which we'll put across the street from our road maintenance area. And then this gives us the opportunity to unlock different types of parks as well. So something I might look at here would be a sports park or large parks, which we just don't have to do that yet. We can add more parks and beautify the city in the next video. But for this one, I want to add parking areas, because as you saw, we're starting to develop I'll call it a parking problem just yet, but we've got a lot of cars on the street, and it's causing these houses to be like, hey, I can't afford to live here anymore, which is a bummer, and because it's noisy. So what I typically like to do is, as these areas start to collapse on each other, I'm going to pick these two sections in these blocks and make these parking and a park area. So I'll pause it and we'll go ahead and delete this, and we'll explore the parking stuff here. Sorry folks. But for our parking that we've unlocked, we have our new parking garages. So we have our very large, which is ginormous, which will take up this whole basically block. We have our large parking lot, which I'm a big fan of, because you can always just throw it right off into here. One on each side. I wish I told you the number of cars that parked. There's also the overground parking, which we could do as well, which provides a good number. And then next, one of the other progression buildings we could unlock is underground parking, which the footprint is much less and parks 200 plus cars in here. There's just a lot of traffic as an FYI. I usually start with surface lots down here, one on each side. Which will help, and then that gives us this little area in the middle that we can add parks to, but we need to make sure we de-zone this so that it doesn't pop up any buildings in the meantime, because who wants to live between a parking lot? Doesn't sound very fun. So I'll add a small park and a playground. And a small park over here as well, actually, because the plaza won't fit. Yeah, it's 1 square, 2. Add a dog park on this side and a playground over here. Now, one thing I want to note is that these parking lots are going to generate foot traffic once they leave. So, one thing I like to try and do is create some form of walkway between the parking lots. Perfect. Because what I'll also do is I'm going to convert these to one-way streets down here. Because as you can see, we have inflows coming in. Which we want to have the flow of traffic going with those flows. So we can create basically a square circle. So now this should line up as well. We just stick with it. And so now we have these We have a rotation around. And I removed all parking from here, by the way, from this street. So you cannot park on this street that has the parking garage or the parking ramps, or not even the parking lot. But this will help with the flow of cars coming in and out of the parking garage or the parking lot. And I'm going to do something similar up here. So we have no left turns. Keep it the same. Perfect. And so now we will have basically one-way streets through our residential neighborhoods here. So it should help with the traffic flow. Oh, geez. Look at that. We got a fire going on. Let's check it out. This is what we needed. Here's our fire truck. Alright, now we gotta figure out how to get way back there. There you go. Take care of it all. And so, because of how our stuff is set here, we're gonna start losing some of these single family homes. Which is perfectly okay, because as demand increases, we will be replacing this with more not urban development, but medium density. So, we talked about our park maintenance. I typically just throw this across the street from my other city service maintenance. So now they're going to go maintain the parks. So I am going to rezone this to just be office. These should just take up the most of that. Capacity. Now we're losing a lot of these, which is alright. Just curious to see how traffic flow is coming along in the city. Let's see. The roads are looking good. Traffic flow, not bad. Looks like it gets maybe down to 70% during our rush hour times. 6 p.m. and 12 a.m. Let's see. And a lot of people are getting upset and leaving because of the noise pollution. Which, now, because of our advanced road tools, we can actually remove some of the parking from some of these streets and then add trees to it to make it quieter and prettier. But we have this highway as well, which we can add sound barriers to, which I'm going to go ahead and do that next. just so these people don't have to listen to the highway. Perfect. Alright, and then here's those trees that I promised our citizens. I forgot you can drag it. Do the same thing on both sides. Perfect. So these neighborhoods have those trees, which will grow. What is the noise pollution anyway? Looking at. Ooh. Average noise pollution 7%. It is pretty noisy. You know, since there's a lot of these buildings becoming abandoned. Let's go ahead and add some residential to it. Medium density. Which this took up most of that, so that's good. Good. Alright, so let's just recap what we did. We went ahead and built this wonderful highway and our new on-ramps and off-ramps, as well as used terraforming to create the ramps coming up and down. We added parks to our little turnarounds, as well as added a residential or schools to the city, which are doing great. And there's openings, and we are starting to, because of the expansion and high rent, we are starting to run into the problem where now some of these houses are becoming abandoned because, well, they can't afford to live there anymore, because the land value is getting too high. And then one other thing that we did, we added our police and fire down into this little covert. And we added these parking areas. So that's all. So if you like that, make sure you park a comment and a like below and subscribe. Thanks for watching and enjoy a flyover of downtown like we close out the last one. We can see how it's changed. Thank you for watching.